Welcome, everyone, to episode 1 of Secret Surge. We are your hosts. I am Lindsay.
And I am Stevie Lawrence.
We're going to give you guys just a bit of an intro of who we are and what Secret Surge is all about. I am a Northern Nevada native. I grew up in the Lake Tahoe area. That's where I am now, except I'm in NorCal. I'm an ex-endurance athlete. I have a small sponsorship with them, but I am a semi-professional trying to make it and get a contract in track and field or potentially some other events if track ends up not working out. I love running and competing and want to see how good that I can get. I am part of our developing team, SG Tahoe, where my coach and I, Christian Gonzalez, are trying to start a pro team in the Lake Tahoe area. So we're trying to get more people and hopefully get some sponsorship with that and get a new pro and elite team going on. So that's me. And go ahead, Stevie.
Sounds really exciting. Everyone, all you California people, listen up and get down to Tahoe. I'm Stevie Lawrence. I'm a British steeplechase runner. At the moment, I'm based with the A6 Mammoth Track Club, which is in California as well. We're up in the mountains at 7,000 feet, 8,000 feet. Still consider myself sort of semi-pro, trying to get into that pro field. And I think with being part of this team is a big step in the right direction. Like I said, I'm primarily steeplechase runner, but I'm also toying with some other distances this year, which I'm really excited about. Test myself on stuff I haven't fully committed to before. Really excited to be here. I'm really glad we're finally sitting down and doing this.
We are probably going to get questions about why are we calling this Secret Surge?
Secret Surge kind of represents runners and people who are working hard behind the scenes. They're not really in the limelight. They might not be the ones that are invited to podcasts all the time. They haven't got the camera crew following them around, seeing their day-to-day, representing how you might have a surge in a race. People might not see it coming and you've suddenly got that surge, you've suddenly got that breakthrough. It doesn't just happen out of nowhere. There is a story behind it and we would really like to show those stories to people. The way we came up with this idea is that me and Lindsay were talking back and forth, trying to figure out a name, come up with ideas. No, that one's taken. No, don't like that. And Lindsay actually brought up a story of her college days, which brought up my own story. But I wonder if you want to tell us your story.
One of the things that my coach did in the middle of a race, if we were losing that pack, there's that gap that starts to form and you're like, oh, like, should I go with them? Like, I don't know. And he'd be like, 3 quick steps, very, very intensely. And it woke you up and you did 3 quick steps to try to like get into that pace. The point was not to settle back into your slower pace, but to give you a boost to catch that next pack. So then I told Stevie about that. So then she had her own story to go with that.
It was, you literally said 3 quick steps. And I was like, oh, so kind of like a surge. And then I was like, oh my God. So when I was younger, I trained with my local club, Croydon Harriers, which is still my club today, will probably be my club for life because I love them. One of our sessions that we would do would be 400 meters in a group, and one person each rep would be in charge of surging at any point in the race. I already called it a race, at any point in the run. And this was kind of a fun way to get us thinking of a race situation, but without the stress of, oh, if I mess up, the race is ruined. At any point, it could be the start, the first 100 meters, and you knew you had to go straight with it. Someone's going to surge for 100 meters, you have to go with them. Or it might be you're going round in your rep and then you're getting closer and closer to that 300 meter mark and you're knowing you're about to sprint for home. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot about race strategy, unpredictability. I think a lot of it was just keeping us like young kids entertained, which I think is really important as a child, to just be enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah. And now.
Yeah. And I definitely continue to still love what I'm doing, but I was like, I loved doing secret surges and it just kind of connected what we were trying to get out of the podcast. We were trying to find something that represented a bit of our story. We're not in the limelight, but we're both working really hard, and like with that hard work is coming successes. My coach always tells me, he's like, oh, they always think it's a sudden breakthrough, but really it's taken years to get there. You only see it in the moment.
I might have to incorporate that into my training. I don't know, that sounds fun. I'd much prefer that over my standard 1K reps or something. I gotta get someone to do secret
Honestly,
surges with me now.
Yeah, right. I think we could meet up and do some secret searches. We won't tell the coaches though. We'll suddenly start sprinting. We both consider ourselves in that middle space of semi-professional to professional running. I think a lot of people relate to that. A lot of runners are there just trying to make it in the world. They might have a full-time job. I think Secret Surge is about trying to follow our story through bridging the gap to the elite level, the challenges that come with it, the things that are good about it, the things that are bad, the relatable stories, whether you're at top of your game or whether you're just getting started.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have a professional contract, but that's what we're aiming at.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're going to be talking with some people in general about like the ups and downs of not just running, but like other athletics and life stories for people who have overcome and had that like surge in their life where they're really just trying to make it, or they're like right there on the bridge of like making their dream, or whether it's financial in your job and professional life or athletics. Okay, so I think one of the things we'll just briefly touch on challenges associated with this kind of in-between area of semi-pro to pro. You're not quite making it, you don't have a salary. A lot of times people are working full time doing what we're doing. Yeah, lack of sponsorship. The way that running is set up is different than a lot of sports. People don't usually just get like a bunch of little sponsors. You have like a contract with a big running group like Nike or Asics or whatever, Puma. And a lot of times that limits your choice of races, your choice of, I don't know, it limits freedom. That's what contracts do. They limit freedom sometimes, but that's where we're at in the running world. So that's still the best way at this point, I think, to be able to make it professional and not have to work. We are going to also be talking about current events in running, athletics, or life. Obviously, we're going to gauge what you guys as listeners want to hear from us. Just very briefly, obviously, Shelby Houlihan's coming back. So she had a 4-year ban, and most of you guys probably know what that was all about. She had a positive test. She tried to challenge that, and it got denied. And we're going to look a little bit more into that, or at least I will, because I've been very curious about this. But Flow Track recently did a preview on, they're doing like kind of a documentary on her, and there were a lot of people that were very, very upset with the fact that they are choosing to highlight her over just other athletes. But the fact is people are interested in her. They want to know what she's been doing. So Stevie, I don't know if you heard about that. I think I saw that you
I did see
post.
that, and that was going to be my main post, because honestly I was one of those people. I was one of those ones that, why is she getting all of this, again, like camera time, when there's people that, whether you believe like she did it, she didn't do it, like she served a 4-year ban, and there was reason for that because there was evidence against her, which like she appealed and the appeal was denied because there wasn't substantial evidence to prove her innocent of it. So it just seemed odd to almost be celebrating her in that way. Even if it was a documentary type thing, I just felt like the tone was a little bit distasteful. But like you said, it's a story people want to know. I'd probably be interested in hearing details that I didn't know about the world. You go with where the interest is. You go where the talking points are.
It would be a lot different also if we had lifetime bans, which I think we should have them almost all the time. I think there are very few cases, but even if like a lot of times what happens is you don't show up for a test and they count that as a positive, or they can't find your whereabouts. And I mean, that's really sketchy to me as well. So it's like, I kind of understand that lifetime ban thing, but yeah, Shelby has maintained her innocence this whole time. Like, I went back on one of her posts from right before, and she's like, whatever it was, and I don't know what it was, whether it was the burrito or just the bad testing or something, like, I don't know, but I know that I'm going to move forward from it. So it's very interesting that she does retain her innocence. And I don't know, I think a lot of times you just see people disappear from the scene, but she has not. I think one of the things also that we as sub elites, or not even sub elites, sub pros, because we're considered like elite, but sub pros. So we obviously don't have access to, all of the things that people like Jakob Ingebrigtsen or like Josh Kerr have. And like, they have, like, Josh Kerr has he hired a private chef, and I was like, oh, I'd love to hire a
Yes.
private chef, like, that would
So
be great. I mean, once you're at that level, you have to be looking at all the little details, and but you're shaving off like, like milliseconds or seconds to try to get better. But Stevie, I don't know what you kind of do as extra stuff, like, I don't know, massage and things that maybe non-elite runners would do.
Yeah, I have a ASICS team contract. So I guess I'm even one step closer to the professional athletics scene. So I don't have an individual contract with ASICS, which means I'm not getting the budget to purely live on running. I'm getting like the kit for free.
They pay for your guys' travel, or
I have some budget for it.
yeah.
I find, especially in track season, with the lack of money in track itself, like there's much less prize money. But as soon as it comes to track season, I'm just out of pocket. So yeah, I feel like where Joshka has his private chef, I don't have a private chef, but I do have the luxury of still running full time because I went all in on Mammoth Track Club and I get some support from them, which I would not be able to do any of this without them. And then I have my own savings, and then I also have a partner, which is great because you're able to split bills. It's really hard to do things by yourself. You need that support, whether it's from a partner or family or a team. If you want to do what we're doing, like, it takes a team for sure. So I'm not spending my money on massages. I'm not spending any of that extra money because I'm purely living almost month to month with the budget I have to be able to live the lifestyle that I want. I've invest all of my extra time in recovery outside of massage, free recovery. I'm sleeping.
Yes.
Is what I'm doing. Sleeping.
Natural human growth hormone right there.
And I've got the luxury of it. Like I go to bed around 9:30 p.m. and then I wake up kind of naturally at 7. I'm like, no, back to bed, go back, because I have that luxury to do that. So it's interesting to feel somewhere in this mix. I'm like, oh, kind of, I'm acting like a professional, but I'm not being paid like a professional.
Yeah, well, that's where it starts, though. And I think that's one of the things that I've struggled with is balancing, like, acting like a professional. Because when I went all in and decided that I was going to, not work full time and just do part-time jobs and try to make it off of limited sponsorship, and I have support, and I don't have a team. Just trying to act like a professional has been difficult. Like, I don't go to bed as early as I should, and usually that's because Christian gets home and I want to spend time with him, and we end up watching too much TV or something. But it takes discipline is the word. Yeah.
Do you prefer running in the evening? Because I think I noticed your Strava has a lot of later runs. Is it because you don't have a choice, or do you just enjoy the evening?
I enjoy evenings because at this point my body just feels like more awake at that point. My body just doesn't feel like it can get up to speed, which has its downside for morning races, because then when there's a morning race, I'm not used to it. When I did the USA 5K champs in New York, it was 3 hours earlier. Later?
Time zones.
Yeah. So then the race was at like 7, and it felt like
It'd
it
be like
felt
four,
way
four,
earlier
five,
for
six,
me. Yeah.
seven. Yeah.
Yeah. And I ran one of the worst races of my life. Like I ran very slow. I didn't come in dead last, but I basically came in last. This year, that's one of my 2025 goals also. When you're going all in with this, you really need to act like a professional and do what you can while also having fun. Obviously, we talked about having fun, but you have to have discipline, and it's hard sometimes because you're like, I'm not getting paid for this like as much as I want to, but when you have a passion for it, that's that's
I
where you
think
get
that's
motivation.
kind of really kind of nails how I feel most days. It's almost that mental battle between, it feels horrible to say, but it's like, am I failing in both ways?
Yeah.
Because I'm not being paid the professional wage, but I'm trying to live as a professional. But then am I being I'm reliant on this team, on having a partner, like I said, reliant on savings. I'm losing money. Maybe I should be going back home, getting a normal job and trying to do it the same way that a lot of us are doing, which is working part-time, full-time, and still fitting a full running career around it. But then at the same time, it's like, if I went and did that, am I giving up? Am I failing when I already have this opportunity? I basically have told myself, you need to focus on what you're already doing. So
I agree.
it's not a failure if you keep working hard and it works out in the end, which I am always going to say it is.
Oh, I completely agree. And how old are you again?
I'm 27.
Okay. Oh yeah, we have
Almost
the same
28.
we have the same year. Yeah, so we're both 27. Honestly, for running, for those of you who maybe don't know, 27, well, at least for our distance, I think like 27 to like 33 or 34 is like really that like prime age. And then obviously, like if you want to run marathons or longer distance, like there are women that are, late 30s, 40s that are just killing it, and they're beating 20 something year olds. So, but right now we're kind of in that prime age, and so another reason why it's better to just like full send on that dream, because you can work that. I mean, my opinion is like, yeah,
it's
you can
now
work
or
for the
never.
rest of your life. Yeah, and you have your school experience and you can get hired, and people probably are like, oh, that's cool that you actually took some time to do something different. It sets you apart.
Yes. It's like at the end of your life, I know I'm not going to regret doing this now. Even if you try and fail, just knowing that you went for it and got to experience some of the lifestyle is worth it.
I completely agree. That's where I'm at too. So we're probably going to wrap it up here. So hopefully you guys follow us along, and we'd love to hear your input on what you want to hear from us and what you're interested in. But our general theme is Secret Surge. Like, what are you doing? What are other people doing? Who have you heard about that's trying to make it like us? And what have they found that's been helpful? What are some challenges they've had? We have socials. We have Instagram. We'll put out those links, and we're going to make it a YouTube channel as well. We will leave that up to feedback for you guys. Thank you for watching this with us. Anything you want to add?
That was really great. I've been really enjoyed this, and I'm really hoping to, get the hang of this speaking thing, get my story straight a bit. We just want to highlight that you don't have to be a runner to be listening to this podcast. We want to hear like journeys. We want to hear what you're doing outside of running. If you are a runner, what is your hobbies, or what is your side hustle? That's one thing I particularly am really interested in, because we are more than runners as well. But I'd love to hear from whether it's strength and conditioning coaches, race directors, whether you're someone that's really figured out like what works for you.
That would be great to hear from people like that.
Yeah, we're all about self-growth here. I need advice. I need you to give me advice. I need to be the best person ever.
We'll do an advice currency exchange.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll do a giveaway for whoever gives us the best advice.
Okay. Oh, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.